This is just one idiot's opinion on the internet. If you disagree, that's cool too.
Activision presents a smashing blast from the past.
I have played a lot of games in my short life. One series that I wanted to get into more over the years, though, was Crash Bandicoot. The only memories I have with our pants-wearing Bandicoot are from when I was a small child. When I was much younger, I went through a number of questionable daycares and babysitting services. But there was one daycare I went to for a short time that had a PS1. The only game I ever played? Crash Bandicoot. Other than that, I played Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex for the GameCube, but that's about it. So when the Insane Trilogy was announced, needless to say, I was excited. The Insane Trilogy, as implied, is a complete remaster of the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games for the PS1. There are a lot of different opinions when it comes to remakes and remasters. How long should people wait? What games get remastered? Should they exist at all? Personally, I like them. When I was a kid and saw these games for the first time, I thought they looked spectacular. Nothing could get more real than the graphics in 1997, and that's the way I want to remember those games. Remastered versions help keep that childhood memory alive in a way. That might not make sense to people, but oh well. Regardless of my ramblings after last week's platforming, train wreck, I decided to try and cleanse my mind with some quality platforming game. This is my review of the original Crash Bandicoot in the Insane Trilogy. Enjoy. The story takes place on the Wumpa Islands, 3 islands owned by the nefarious Dr. Neo Cortex. Dr. Cortex and his assistant, Nitrous Brio, have created the Evolvo Ray, a fancy new device that can mutate various animals into angry beasts with super strength. Crash the Bandicoot is the prized possession of Dr. Cortex, and plans to mutate him into the leader of his animal military. Like every good doctor, Cortex ignores the warnings from his lackey and tests his new Cortex Vortex on Crash to control his mind. The machine spits Crash out like a rotten apple, and Crash leaps out the window to his inevitable death. Nope, no, wait, he lives. I don't know how, but who cares? Crash shakes off the landing, pulls up his pants, and decides it's time to go back to save his girlfriend. Spoilers. Crash travels through forests, rivers, temples, and castles, defeating all the mutated animals along the way. There's only one thing left to do, and that's to take down the Doctor himself. A few well-timed spins, and Dr. Cortex is sent flying to his inevitable death. Oh, nope, wait, he lives too. Go figure. Regardless, Crash is reunited with his love, and we sit back and wait for the inevitable revenge plan of Dr. Neo Cortex and company. Crash Bandicoot is your basic platformer, but with a few little twists here and there. The game puts you in the pants of Crash the Bandicoot. He has 2 basic moves through the game, jump and spin. Instead of traditional side-scrolling levels though, the game is filled with a number of front-facing levels. I always thought that it was kind of a unique idea that you could run towards or away from the screen, but it kind of comes with some troubles too. The depth perception when jumping towards or away from the screen is much harder to judge than jumping left and right. Along with that, when you're in a rush or being chased by the embodiment of death itself, you have no clue what's in front of you, and it can be incredibly hard to react in time for jumps or obstacles. The game, however, does do a decent job of designing levels around the concept, almost guiding you in the direction you need to go even when you can't necessarily see where you are going. Each level in the game has a few different power-ups to it. Item 1, Aku Aku masks. These masks float around Crash and will allow him to take 1 hit. You can collect up to 3 masks at once, and when you do, you become invincible for a short time. Item 2, Wumpa Fruits. These fruits are scattered around the level, in boxes, or along the path to go. Collecting 100 Wumpa Fruits will net you an extra life. Item 3, Boxes. You have your checkpoint boxes, TNT boxes, 1-up boxes, and more. In each level there are a certain amount of boxes. The goal? Break all the boxes without dying. This will lead you to earning a gem at the end of each level. Sounds simple enough, right? Not quite. Breaking all the boxes in the later levels can be insanely tough, especially with the slightly new physics in the game which causes you to slip easier. Certain levels will have different colored gems at the end of the level, and collecting will unlock different paths in earlier worlds. The game also has a new time trial mode. After you have beaten a level, a clock will appear at the beginning of the level, and touching it will start your timer. One annoyance I do have with the game is that you can spin away collectibles like 1-ups and emblems. Simply put, I have no clue why this is a thing. Most levels also contain a bonus section where you will collect a bunch of boxes. Collecting 3 of the same symbol will open up a warp point for you. One thing that disappoints me, the boss fights. I found them incredibly simplistic with the loading screen telling you exactly how to beat them at the beginning. There are a few differences and additions to the insane version of the game. You have analog support in the game has new trophies to collect. You can also unlock Coco, who takes Crash's place through most of the game. The big change is how jumping works now. When I started playing this game, I couldn't believe how hard I found it. I couldn't figure out how I could have beat this game as a child if I couldn't beat it now. After a little bit of research, I learned something about curved collision boxes leading to slipping edges or something, I don't know. If anyone in the comments can explain that better, feel free. The physics took a bit to get used to, but overall it still played really well. Right away, the developers wanted to show off the new look of the game, putting a sort of before and after scene in before you even started playing. The game obviously got a huge makeover, and my god does it look good. The environments all look vibrant and really come to life. You can really see the detail in the game, from the hairs on Crash's body to the stitches in his pants. I love old games as much as anyone, but PS1 games did not particularly age well with time, and this really helps do the game justice. The music is just as catchy and well done as I remember it. The game was almost unrecognizable to me when I started, but the level design and music brought it right back. Crash Bandicoot is not exactly your definition of long. The game has 33 levels in it, and most of them will only take a few minutes to beat. The game does introduce a time trial mode, and going for 100% is not a cakewalk. You certainly get your money's worth out of this game, and remember, you get 3 games packaged into one, which is also a plus even if they're shorter games. Crash Bandicoot is every bit the game that I remember loving as a child. I'm glad that after all these years it got a nice makeover, but kept the integrity of the game intact. For those that have not played the original Crash games, it is highly recommended that you start here. For those that have beat the game already, it's still fun and a nice nostalgia trip for you. If you enjoyed any part of this video, like, comment, subscribe, spin around 3 times, and yodel. I'll see you guys next week for the, I don't know yet actually. Hopefully I picked something out by the time I've recorded this. See ya.